Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to online classes. And I, Ajay Kumar, your English teacher, is going to teach you a new chapter, that is Glimpses of the Past from NCERT book 8th standard. Dear student, now in this chapter, we are going to read about our past, like you all have read in the history book. Right. Now, what does glimpses means? Glimpses means a very quick but not a complete view of something. So we are going to now uh, know very quickly but not a complete view about the past. What we have seen in the past. So we are going to read about that. It will be in a summarized way but not in the descriptive way, right? So now it says that before you read, here are some pictorial glimpses of the history of our country from 1757 to 1857, right? So this is the story. This is a pictorial story, and the duration of this pictorial story, the incident took place between 1757 to 1857. It is between that time period this pictorial stories has been mentioned here, and it is in like you can say a pictorial picture a way picture masses. So these pictures and speech bubbles which help clarify your understanding of the conditions that led to the event known as the First War of Independence in 1857. So you all have heard already, I think you might have read in the history book also, that when was the first war of independence was fought in India, that was in 1857, led by Mangal Pandey, right? And during that course of time there were several other people who were supporting this fight in their own region. Like if we talk about Bihar, now we all know Babu Bir Kubarsi. He was leading this fight in Bihar from Ara district he was. And he was so old man, right? He was around 80 years old, and though he fought the war, he led the war. That was the first war of independence. So let's go and we'll start with the martyrs. Now martyrs who are dead already, who fought the war, and they just got the present of death, you can say. उनको मृत्यु एक तोहफे के तौर पे मिला था. So we are going to discuss about the martyrs now. So as you can see here in this picture, like a very renowned and very famous personality, that is Lata Mangeshkar ji. She's still alive, and you can see she's holding a piece of paper in her hand, and this is a picture of a function which held in Delhi, right? Now in this you can see she's speaking, or she's saying that, oh my countrymen, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifices of Indians martyrs. So dear student, I hope you all remember the very famous song. Do you remember that? If you can comment me in the comment box. I just want to know how many of you you know that. Well, I must sing that lyrics. ऐ मेरे वतन के लोगों, जरा आँख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी. So dear student, this was a song from me, because this was the part of this chapter, and I must tell you, I must recall your memories. If you have not heard, you can listen this song. This was a very a lovely song sang by Lata ji, in the name of martyrs who gave their life. You can see in the picture how many martyrs have given their lives for Indian freedom. Uh, Here, starting from Lakshmi Bai, Bhagat Singh, Nehruji, Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Madan Mohan Malviya, and I'm not recognizing this person, but you can see, you can check out, and many more persons who gave their life for this freedom. Well, this song was sang by Lataji in a function in Delhi. So this is all about the martyrs she sang, and she gave her precious voice while praising their life. I mean their contribution towards the freedom. Now the second is the company's conquests. The companies that was we are talking about the British company that time, who came in India for doing the trade, but later on they started taking on all the administrative part of India, right? And this was the duration of 1757 to 1849. So you can see here in the picture, the map is given, India map is given, undisputed Indian map. That time it was not even divided, right? This is the map taken from 1765 with its superior weapons. The British East India Company was extending its power in 18th century in India, right? So all these yellow marked area or part, you can say, was ruled by Indian princes, and these all over the territory of British territory. You can say here the first time East India Company established their like offices in that part, right? Now in next picture you can see Indian princes were short-sighted. That upstart Raja called the English merchants. They will help me to defeat him. Now the people had no peace due to such constant fight. So we can say like how the company, East India Company, get involved into the administrative part. This was the reason like how the Indian princes call them, they called princes a whole Indian territory were divided into several small provinces, right? And they were having Indian princes. Now the princes were having conquest. They were actually fighting with each other for territorial dispute or to take over another territory, and that's why they were becoming enemy of each other. Now one of the prince thought that he'll just bring other king bow down if he take if he take the help of a British company, East India Company. So he thought to invite them. He called the English merchant जो व्यापार करने आए थे उनको बुलाया, और they thought कि राजा जो था उसने सोचा कि they will help him to defeat the other king, and just because of that after that the unrest started taking place in many provinces of India. Actually when the constant fight start there, the people had no peace just because of the constant fight, because each and every day, each and every week there was some fight going on in every provinces of India, every part of the India. Now the rivalries helped the East India Company, and it could easily subdue Indian princes one by one. So this is how they got the upper hand. They means the East India Company got the upper hand because just because of East India Company, whatever they wanted was a rivalry between two different provinces, two different kings, and it almostly started there. and they were fighting with each other, and due to that East India Company established their administrative part, their you can say policing and all that, and they started taking over the kings, and they were supplying arms and other equipments to fight the war. Now, a far-seeing ruler like the brave Tipu of Mysore fought the British till he died fighting. You can see here one of the like ruler. His name was Tipu Sultan of Mysore. He actually thought to fight with the British, and he fought with the British army. He never bowed down to them, just because to save his province or area part. Now in next picture you can see, thank God there is peace in the country now. No more war, and no more looting by thugs. It is God who sent the British. You can see different kings are talking different statements they are giving. Somebody says like now there's a peace just because many kings started revolting against the Britishers, and they started understanding how important these areas were for them. So how did India react to this conquest? Somebody was praising, somebody was a bit Britishers side, and somebody was like telling like it is the God who sent the Britishers. So our destiny is linked with them, we should stay with them. So somebody was some of the king was in favor of Britishers, and somebody was in against of that those Britishers. Now you can see the white man has killed or dethroned our king. Some king were not good, but after all they were of this land. Now we have become slaves for foreigners. Here you can see in this picture how the people were talking with each other. What was the thought of general or common people, like they were talking that the white man means the Englishman or the Britishers, has killed their king or dethroned. Like dethroned means taken their power of the king, right? And somebody was saying like, okay, let us just forget that how bad that king was, but at least that king was of our land. वह इसी भूमि पे जन्मा हुआ था, इसी देश का था, वो बाहर का तो नहीं था. Like this, somebody was talking like that. Now somebody was saying like, now we have become slaves of the foreigners. We are living in our country, but still we are being treated as a slave. As a slave, we are being treated by the Britishers. So these all things were growing up. The frustration was growing up between the rulers and the common people during that time. Now number 3, British rule. It started in 1765 and it continued till 1947. So a time period which has been shown here is 1765 to 1836. This was the time when a religious leader preached idea like untouchability and child marriage. Anyone who crosses the seas loses his religion. All the misery in the world is due to women. So these were the very disgusting personalities who always like mocked the reality of the earth, who always tried to misguide the people, like by their religious wisdom or religious knowledge. They actually told everyone that if you are gonna cross the border, if you are gonna cross the sea, then your religion will be lost, and you won't be like you won't be called Hindu, or you won't be called Muslim, or whatever religion they were following. So these were the things told that time by religious leader, and some of them were saying that all the misery in the world is due to women. जितने भी तरह के कष्ट हैं, जितने भी तरह के दुख और ये होता है, वो सब वुमेन की वजह से होता है. इस तरीके की बातें भी उस टाइम पे होती थी. एंड इसके वजह से जो है अनटचेबिलिटी एंड चाइल्ड मैरिज दैट टाइम वाज ऑन पीक. लाइक इवन 5 or 6 years, or even after taking the birth, the girls were getting married, to the, I mean, boys, later on, that when they will grow up, she has to go to their house. So these all things were going on. Untouchability was also there a problem, like you, if you are from the upper caste, or lower caste, or lower caste cannot go their side or touch them. So these were the things growing up, like, as a frustration. The truth was that Indians had lost self-respect. The British scorned them. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. True, your honor, but I'm honest. Being a merchants, the British wanted quick profits. Their heavy taxes forced the farmers to abandon their fields. But your men are taking all my crop. You are still in arrears. If you don't pay next week, I'll send you to jail. And this, you can see how they have taken over the administrative part of the India. And two Englishmen are, talking with each other, like how the Indians have lost their self-respect. And why? Because they are being the native here, but they are unworthy in having the trust, and they are not even honest. And to convince them, even the common man of India was trying to, convince the owner, the, I mean, the higher authority of the court, that I'm honest by saying these all things. In another picture, you can see how the, Englishman was forcing, or asking them to pay taxes, because they have taken over the administrative part of India, and they were levying taxes, heavy taxes, and they were forcing the farmers to abandon their fields if they were not paying the taxes. You can see here two conversation between the farmer and the Englishman. One farmer is saying that आपके आदमी ने हमारे सारे अनाज ले लिए, एंड अंग्रेज जो है वो उसको बोल रहा है कि बिकॉज तुम्हारे ऊपर अभी भी बाकी है, अभी भी बकाया है, और अगर तुम जो बकाया पे नहीं करोगे तो अगले हफ्ते तुम्हें, अगले टाइम तुम्हें जेल भेज दिया जाएगा. लाइक दिस टाइप ऑफ थिंग वाज गोइंग ऑन. नाउ still the British invented other methods which gave them more profits. The goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when brought into India. A good idea. The East India Company's law began to cripple Indian industries. Inevitably, famines followed between 1822 and 1836. 15 lakhs Indians died of starvation. The British policies ruined the expert artisans and their businesses. Now in these two pictures you can see how they have framed a new economical method to gain the profit. They have levied so heavy taxes on Indian goods. However, the import duty were taken off on the goods which were manufactured in England. जो इंग्लैंड में सामान बनता था उसको भारत लाने पे किसी तरीके का कोई कर नहीं चुकाना होता था, लेकिन अगर इंडिया में कोई सामान बना हुआ तो उसके ऊपर एक बहुत हैवी टैक्सेस लगा दिया जाता था. इस तरीके से ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने जो है भारतीय इंडस्ट्रीज को बिल्कुल ध्वस्त करने का एक अच्छा सा तरीका निकाल रखा था, एक मेथड निकाल रखा था. इसी दौरान जो है यू कैन सी इन 1822 एंड 1836 भूखमरी, फेमाइन इज़ लाइक भूखमरी. जब अनाज बहुत कम पैदा होता है, बारिश कम होती है, उसके कारण अनाज कम पैदा होता है, तो लोगों को खाने के लिए नहीं मिलता. सो दैट इज़ कॉल्ड फेमाइन, लाइक स्ट्रगलिंग विथ ड्राउट. एंड 15 lakhs, देयर वाज अ रिकॉर्ड लाइक 15 लाख लोग जो है उस टाइम भूख से मर गए. इस तरीके से ब्रिटिश पॉलिसीज जो है बिल्कुल ही जितने हमारे यहाँ एक्सपर्ट आर्टिसंस थे और जो बिज़नेस उनका था बिल्कुल उसको चौपट कर दिया, रूइन कर दिया, बर्बाद कर दिया. नाउ यू कैन सी हियर द रिफॉर्मेशन टाइम, लाइक वी ऑल नो राजा राम मोहन रॉय फॉर द रिफॉर्मेशन दैट स्टार्टेड इन 1772 to 1833. राम मोहन रॉय, राजा राम मोहन रॉय, a learned man from Bengal, understood what was wrong with the country. Let us not despise ourselves. Our ancient culture is great and we are capable of greater achievements. We must first reform our society. Superstitions have been ruining us. He told his wife Uma, cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. So then after Ram Mohan Roy took the initiative, and he was actually a learned person from Bengal. वो इस स्थिति को उन्होंने समझा, बहुत भली भांति समझा. उनके समझ में आ गया था कि हमारे देश में क्या गलत चल रहा है. एंड देन आफ्टर ही एक्चुअली रिक्वेस्टेड द पीपल, लोगों से उन्होंने आग्रह किया कि हमें अपने प्राचीन ऐतिहासिक जो कल्चर है हमारा, उसको बर्बाद नहीं होने देना है. हमारा जो कल्चर है इतना रिच है, इतना ग्रेट है, हमारे अचीवमेंट इतने ग्रेट है कि हम लोग फिर से वापस अपने पैरों पे खड़ा हो जाएंगे. बट टू डू दैट वी हैव टू रिफॉर्म आवर सोसाइटी. हम लोग को अपने सोसाइटी का रिफॉर्म करना होगा. एंड ये जो सुपरस्टिशंस की बातें जो होती है, जो रिलीजियस लीडर्स जो करते हैं, उन्होंने हमें बर्बाद कर रखा है. इवन वाइल टॉकिंग विथ हिज वाइफ उमा, Ram Mohan Roy wife name was Uma, he explained it in very simple way. Like he gave an example of a cow which is of different color, but the color of their milk is same. So in the same way he said that teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. Every religion's essence is same, like save the humanity, think about humanity. Now he was attracted by science and modern knowledge. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. He crossed the sea and went to England to see what made the British powerful. There he told them, "We accept you as rulers and you must accept us as subjects. But you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subjects," right? And he has also got he has started newspaper, but the suspicious British stopped them in 1823. So I told you, like he was a very learned person, and to this extent he actually thought of attracting, he actually knew that science and modern knowledge was the उसके वजह से जो है हम रिफॉर्म कर सकते हैं. तो उनके हिसाब से नॉलेज जो है प्रैक्टिकल होना चाहिए और साइंटिफिक होना चाहिए. और साथ में ही उन्होंने बाद में जब पढ़ाई लिखाई कर लिया तो उन्होंने एक न्यूज़पेपर जो है 1823 में इंग्लैंड में ही शुरू किया था बस. बट सस्पिशियस एक्टिविटी होने के कारण ब्रिटिश रूलर्स ने उनको रोक दिया. बाद में जब उनकी बात हुई लोगों से, तो ब्रिटिशर्स से, तो उन्होंने बोला कि मैं बंगाल से इंग्लैंड यहाँ पे इसलिए आया हूँ, ये बताने के लिए आया हूँ कि आप लोग सच में पावरफुल हो. राइट, आई डू नॉट अग्री कि आप पावरफुल नहीं हो, एंड वी विल एक्सेप्ट यू एज अ रूलर. हम आपको एक रूलर के तौर पे, शासक के तौर पे आपको एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं. बट हम जो प्रजा हैं वो आप लोगों से ये अपेक्षा रखते हैं कि जो आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है एक रूलर होने के नाते, एक शासक होने के नाते प्रजा के प्रति, वो आपको दिखाना चाहिए. सो डियर स्टूडेंट, टुडे we have learned the first part of this chapter. We'll continue it tomorrow. So stay tuned with the channel, and we'll meet next day. Till then, bye, take care, and have a nice day. Thank you.